This is a story of how I got a job at Lululemon in my early 20s. So this time I did hear back from Lululemon. They invited me in for a job interview, but the email said that the digital storytelling job is no longer available. They probably filled it internally, but they liked my resume and thought I might be good for this other job. I believe it was like a copywriter or something like that. So I show up for an in-person interview. We all met at the head office here in Vancouver. It was a group interview, so there was maybe a dozen other people all applying for various roles. And so we took our shoes off and we sat in this yoga studio, cross-legged on the floor, and in front of us was a little card where we had to write our name and the job that we're applying for. And so over the course of the hour, they'd go around in the circle and ask a bunch of various questions. I can't remember what the questions they asked, but it wasn't really specific to any one role. And then we got to ask our questions. So at the end, everyone put their shoes on, we're shuffling out the door, and one of the HR people grabbed me and pulled me aside. They asked me what job that I was applying for. And I said, oh, I'm applying for the copywriter role. Because they had seen it on my card, and they go, I'm a little confused. We filled that role last week. I said, oh, I got an email inviting me to this interview. They said, okay, well, look, let us look into it and we'll get back to you. So they looked into it and they got back to me and they said, yes, our apologies. We did invite you for that role. It has been filled. We do like your resume. We liked you in your interview and we think you'd be a good fit here. Why don't you meet with, one of the heads of the digital marketing department and maybe they have something for you. So I said, okay, great. So I met some head of the marketing department and his associate, and it was for some role. I can't really remember, but it was pretty obvious within the first 5-10 minutes that I wasn't the right candidate for this role. I didn't know anything about what they were talking about. So they literally stopped the interview 5 minutes in. They said, hey, look, man, let's not waste each other's time. You're not right for this role. But I do have this other role on my team that maybe you'd be right for. It's for an affiliate marketing program manager. And then he asked me, do you know anything about affiliate marketing? I said, no. He said, okay, listen, I like you. I don't know what it is. I have a good feeling about you. So I'll tell you what, let's meet in 1 week from now. You can learn as much as you want about affiliate marketing. If you still want the role, I still think you'd be a good fit, you can come back and I'll interview you for that role. I said, okay, great. So at that time, I wasn't working. I had nothing but time. So I learned everything I could about affiliate marketing. And so I put together their entire affiliate marketing program. I broke down the exact strategy. I did mock-ups on the website of how it would look. I talked about the ins and outs. It was, dozens of pages, all beautifully designed, color printed, and I had it professionally bound. So it looked all professional. And the two people interviewing me, their last names just so happened to be colors of things. So when I got it bound, I color coordinated the binding with their last name. And so when I handed it to them, they were literally spent, 5 to 10 minutes in total silence, just flipping through this. And every so often they would look up at me, but they wouldn't say anything. And then they would keep looking down. They'd look at each other. They look down, they flip through, they're reading it. And at the end, they were like, okay, did you have help putting this together? I said, no. And, they were really impressed. They said, you did this in a week, all by yourself, the graphics, everything? I said, yeah, it's totally. Now they were very confused and very impressed about how somebody could go from having no knowledge in a subject to designing their whole program in under a week. So they continued the interview and, I think it went well at the end. They shook my hand, I left. It just so happened that I was interviewing at some other places and I got 2 other offers on the table, including the Lululemon job. So I received an email from the HR of Lululemon saying, congratulations, we have a role for you. Just sign this contract. Now, what ended up happening is I actually turned that job down for a number of reasons. One, it was a 6-month contract role and I wasn't really confident that I'm going to do a good job at this because I didn't know anything about affiliate marketing. So I thought 2 scenarios are most likely to play out. 1, I'm going to be out of work in 6 months, or 2, they're going to fire me before the 6 month is up. And it was just too much of a risk. So I went with a technical writing role in another company. I had graduated from a technical writing program and it was very difficult to break into that industry if you had no experience. So here was a company willing to hire me with the technical writing title. And so I figured if I could just get 3 to 5 years experience as a technical writer, it'll be forever easier for me to continue to get these roles. And I also got another job as a copywriter at a real estate company. I accepted both offers and did both jobs for a little bit. I eventually told the real estate company that I can no longer continue to work for them, but I still stayed in contact with the founder. And even to this day, I still work with that founder some 15 years later. So Lululemon probably doesn't face a lot of rejection. This lady could not believe it. So she emailed me are you sure? What are you talking about? You don't want this role. They called me at least 2 times and said, hey, listen, man, I just want to hear from you. Are you sure? You absolutely sure you don't want this role? I'm literally holding your contract. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. So who knows if that was ever the right choice. I love Lululemon. I have a whole wardrobe full of Lululemon. I would love to work for this company. I know how difficult it is to get a job there. So in my case, it was totally random. It was a lot of luck. It was a lot of hard work to, build up my resume to the point where they would, consider me.